Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We're down here in the barbershop studio. Jarrett, week 27, I think, is wrapped up. Chelsea didn't win the Carabao Cup, Papa John's Cup.
Going right into that, huh?
And I think you're a little sad. You
I
watched
don't
the whole
care.
game.
I don't care. I wanted to win only because I thought it'd be cool that Azpilicueta will have won all the cups possible for Chelsea.
I'm
in his tenure.
I'm just really
pro
rooting
Aspie.
rooting for Aspie.
Someone's got to root for Aspie, just pro Aspie. You know the other funny thing, and I've mentioned this in the pod before, but when he first got to the club in 2012, I believe, they couldn't pronounce his name, and so everyone just called him Dave. And I was watching like a clip
Remember that
the other night of Chelsea, and like he was going to do a throw-in or something, and you just hear, "Come on, Dave! Come on!" And I'm like, "You fucking Brits, dude! Y'all can't pronounce names. I hate y'all.
They hate it.
The stupid empire, man. They like conquered North America, conquered India, conquered South Africa. I mean, they conquered everywhere, and they still can't pronounce names."
Well,
anyways, I'm done with my diatribe on the empire.
We spent $7 to get ESPN Plus.
So we got ESPN Plus $7, only lagged 10% of the time.
I mean, in a 120-minute game, because it did go to overtime.
It's also 120 minutes of Chelsea-Liverpool. Amazing, amazing play, everything. Goal. There was like 50 goals that were taken back. And so you take the 120 minutes, you add on the 90 minutes when they played in January, you have 210 minutes of amazing football. And these teams ended tied. All those minutes ended tied.
I'm not confident any of the Chelsea players know what the offside rule is. But
Werner doesn't know what it is. Lukaku definitely doesn't know what it is.
Lukaku is a whole
The thing for me is Werner doesn't need it because he's quick. But Lukaku needs it because he's slow as molasses over 10 yards. Convince me he's not, and I'll be quiet. But
convince me of a worse signing than Lukaku.
The only worst signing, and I was talking to Corey about this today at the gym, the only worst signing potentially happened also last year. Not like ever, but last year. Was Grealish. He has just not played for City. 100 mil burnt. And they should have just taken that money, not gotten Grealish, because they already have a bunch of dudes that are exactly like Grealish, in my opinion, and they should have just gotten Kane. So now Kane costs only $50 million because you're not going to burn the $100 million on Grealish. And now he's undervalued. Perfectly budgeted. And you're probably winning the league because you don't have just a little gnome like me in the 18 waiting for the ball to be lobbed in.
And now that Kane's playing really well, we're back to the Son and Kane show. Most combination.
The Son and Kane show.
The most goal scoring combinations
ever
in the Premier League.
They beat Drogba and Lampard, which is really impressive because Drogba and Lampard were together for more time, and they had better players around them.
True.
You will never have another two players that have that many combinations in the Premier League that are silverware-less, trophy-less. That is the real quagmire. That's defines Spursy.
It's true. Although Spurs did smack down Leeds. It was nice.
Spurs smack down Leeds.
And it's a good segue.
You have your Leeds jersey on.
I have my Leeds jersey on.
Tell us why you have your Leeds jersey on.
Well, I felt inspired today because I'm a kind of a closet Leeds fan. I like the whole story. I like the Bielsa bring him up from the Championship back into the Premier League. I like that. Good for the league. Although they've been playing very poorly, and Bielsa's lost a lot of goodwill with that club, and he was.
That's one way to put it, Jeff.
He was given the axe.
I don't think he's
lost. But I have a theory. But
I don't think he's lost goodwill. I just think he's lost confidence.
He's lost confidence.
He's a legend.
Right. No. I think the club will always, be grateful for what he did for them. Inspired them to be back to a Premier League status. They've spent a lot of money, but either way, I have a theory about this. Why they went downhill?
Why Leeds went downhill?
Yeah,
Patrick Bamford.
Well, yes, that's the obvious. Elephant in the room. But
is your theory like a conspiratorial theory?
No,
like
my theory is just
theory?
No. It's just like a good, interesting observation. I've noticed in the last 6-7 games that they've played, the Bielsa bucket nowhere to be seen.
He hasn't had it all season, has he?
Well, somebody said.
I mean,
something
all
about
season
this.
they've been shit. So
yeah, no Bielsa bucket, no goals.
Why do you think he doesn't have it anymore?
I don't know, but
because he squats down, and it hurts my knees to watch him. He's a big guy.
A lot of squatting.
He's got phenomenal knees. Then
it's a lot of squatting happening. But Leeds hired. They announced it today. Jesse Marsch, American coach. Jarrett and I were rooting for Jesse Marsch to be the next U.S. men's national team coach. That's not going to happen now. But interesting, Jeff Cronin, he suggested that maybe they just do a swap, and now Bielsa becomes the U.S. men's national team coach. And then we can get red, white, and blue Bielsa buckets.
There's nothing wrong with this. My only thing with Bielsa, and this is actually not like a problem, I don't think Bielsa speaks English well. And there's
a translator every time he does a press conference.
Yeah, I don't think not that that's a problem. Like, teams have coaches that don't speak the language, but I don't know how big of an impediment that is for the U.S. Like, Klinsmann's English is better than ours. Like, he's been living in L.A. for years before that. So I don't know. I would love Bielsa as a coach. Anyone but Greg Berhalter, but also Bielsa or Roberto Martinez is still out there floating around. Or maybe if Spurs don't want Conte anymore, because Conte literally is like, hey, guys, I've lost 4 out of 5. Is Conte trying to get fired? Have you heard that?
Conte literally is just like up there like saying whatever he wants. He doesn't care.
He can totally do that because he's Conte.
Shit.
He's won titles in Italy and England. But I don't know, like, I heard that press conference with him. He's like, I've lost 4 out of 5. This is shit. What am I doing? And he just, I don't know. He's starting to take some liberties, and I don't know how long Daniel Levy's going to let it go. Because I do think that if Spurs play well, they can continue to grind out and probably finish it in a European position.
Yeah, they'll finish 5th or 6th. They'll be Europa League bound.
Europa League bound. Sounds like a documentary.
Here's the thing. Would it be a successful season? No, this is hypothetical. If Spurs got 5th and won the FA Cup.
That's like the most successful season Spurs have had in decades.
Okay.
Because they've won silverware, and now they're playing with big teams. Like Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are juggernauts. If you play them, you're probably going to lose points. And Manchester United have spent more than all those teams. Not combined, but individually. So Daniel Levy's trying to play AAA ball in the major leagues. And it's really tough if we're just looking at signings.
It's really tough when you can't move on players because he doesn't understand how football works.
What's going to happen with Harry Kane this summer? Are you going to break up the Kane and Sancho? Nothing good can last forever type situation?
I don't know. I mean, from what I've read this week is that Conte is going to get the money to buy the players he wants this summer. Whether that actually happens, who knows? Whether it's just hearsay, who knows? But that's what the reports are saying, is that he's going to get backed. But what does backed mean, right? What does that actually mean? Like, are they going to be able to just go with splash cash? Or are they going to be able to... Or is it going to be like a key? You have to unload a few players. You got to get rid of Winks. You got to sign another top level British English player. You got to replace. I mean, you still have homegrown quotas. You still have to meet those. You got to sign a defender. You got to sign a wing back. You got to sign a. Who knows? I mean, you might have to sign a left wing back because Reguilon might get bought back from Real Madrid.
But wait. Before we go down the entire Tottenham lineup. Are they going to sell Kane? Yes or no?
Only if the price is right.
What's the price for you now? Because last summer they wanted $150.
I think it's still $150.
You think he's still worth that?
Yeah, I mean the current scenario.
I mean, I agree. I was asking to see. I think he's worth that.
I don't think a lot of teams are. There's not that many teams that are poised to spend $150.
I think he's worth $150, but I don't think they're. Well, let me take that back. He's only worth what the market will pay for him. So last season, you tried to sell him for $150, and the market said no gracias. So I think you got to come down a little off that.
Oh, I don't have to come down on anything, but.
Well, you're going to take over Tottenham one day, right?
That's right, controller. I'm going to be their. Yeah, no treasury manager. No.
No. Just the whole. You're going to run everything.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if they're like, "Oh, Ely's coming in," and you like walk in. Winks looks at you and he just packs his bag.
Yeah,
he's gone. He's gone. He's like, everyone's looking at your Twitter. You're like, Winks out for like 300 days in a row.
It would be Winks. The first two players, Winks and Sanchez. See you later.
So rough on Sanchez, but it needs to happen.
It needs to happen. Pull the ripcord.
But let's look at this week. This week, we talked about the Carabao Cup. Kepa hit a field goal in the wrong football. Chelsea lost. Chelsea should have won that game, in my opinion.
Lukaku's,
we had so many open goals.
The
My
Lukaku
God.
goal, for all that we shit on Lukaku, that goal that he scored wasn't offside.
That goal wasn't offside.
No, it
And
really wasn't.
This is a great segue into the Everton City game, where, and please put this on the outro. I'll tag you in the post. Frank was talking about after. So if you watch the City Everton game, there was a handball on Rodri, who basically moved his arm to handle the ball. Now, there's a couple things in play here. One, I think they've changed the rule on handballs to now say basically if it's anything that touches the sleeve of the shirt, it's not a handball. So basically including half the bicep up as part of the body that you can play the ball with. I didn't know about that. If that is true, I think it's asinine because we all grew up where the bicep is totally a handball. Even sometimes I've seen refs call, like if you shoulder the ball, they'll kind of call it. So that's in play. But during the game, we didn't really know what was going on, nor the people in the stadium, nor the fans at home, because we thought they were reviewing it for an offsides and that the offsides had happened before Rodri had handled the ball. Therefore, his handling of the ball was null and void. That turned out not to be the case, and VAR just messed up hugely, a la Trump, huge, and it wasn't called. And I think it's actually a call that will come back, and we will reference that in May, because Liverpool and City are going to come down to points, if not goal differential, and it also is going to affect Everton's season because they needed those 2 points because they are struggling, and as you said, we now can officially say they are in the relegation battle. Now, will Everton go down? Probably not because there's sludge underneath them, but Everton are not a good team right now. But I think it could affect the title race. Because if City are to win if City win the title race by 2 points or even 1 point, you're going to go back and be like, dude, they had a handball. And so Frank after was like, are you guys kidding me? Like, what are we doing? This is the reason why you have VAR, so that if the ref can't see it on the field or something happens, you're going to review it and we're going to make sure this thing is done right. Because Everton get a PK there, it might change that game. And Ashley Cole was on the field after, kind of going after the ref. And I didn't really understand, but it was after when all this came out, and I saw it on Twitter, and I saw it on Instagram, and I saw a bunch of the interviews and stuff with the players and with Franklin. But I just think it's asinine. How do you mess up VAR unless, like I said, the rule and the interpretation of what a handball is now changed? And if that is changed to include half your bicep, I think that's asinine. I don't know why they changed it.
We talked about this after the game, and the whole thing about VAR is that it's still a guy, a head ref, in a booth looking at a screen, looking at and interpreting the game. It's not much different, except the instant replay, and they get to go back and look at it a billion times, than the actual ref on the field, right? So there's still this like margin for error. I think people assume that like no matter what happens in the VAR room, it's infallible. Like it's not. Like it's law. Like it's definitely like true. You know what I mean? But that's obviously not the case. So what the fuck are we doing with VAR? Like honestly, what are we doing with VAR? And why? And my question is, why can the German league get it right? Why can La Liga get it right? Why can Serie A get it right?
I think the MLS gets it right. If you
why
want
does
to be
the
honest.
MLS get it right? Why does Champions League get it right with English refs? What is the common denominator? Bad English refereeing.
The system of the English refereeing.
Yes, the FA. They are the English Football Association is piss poor at either their interpretation of the rules or how they teach their coaches. I mean, teach their refs, because of what we've seen from these refs is just it's abysmal when it comes to VAR. It's abysmal, and they botch games and they favor top teams, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious.
If that was biases, the other way around,
yep,
and that had hit any one of the Everton defenders, Keane, who had a howler, that's the way that Man City was able to score. One would feel that Man City would get the benefit of the doubt. And I don't know whether that's the Guardiola effect, whatever it is, but I've seen it time and time again. VAR, a couple seasons ago, where they gave Bruno Fernandes the PK against Brighton, I believe, when the game had ended. And it was 2-2, and he scored the penalty. After the game, the final whistle had gone, and then VAR called the penalty or whatever for them. So there's reason to believe that the teams that attack more with more possession will obviously create more opportunities, therefore have more opportunities to then have a handball. But with this on the defensive side, not calling it, and even not even sending the ref over to go look at it, I think is suspect. I think the ref should always, if it's a penalty, my thing is the ref should always go look, no matter what. Because he, at the end of the day, is the one who's going to be accountable. And like you said, this is not an infallible thing. I think obviously being able to look at something 10 more times in slow-mo from different angles should decrease the chances of screw-up and human error. But at the end of the day, it's still a human-run system.
Yeah, we don't have AI looking at it yet. And you can tell just by the way that they draw the lines and offside and how they do. It's a guy drawing the line. It's not like a computer algorithm that like decides, right? It's a person that decides. So at the end of the day, we're just adding more confusion. And I'm not like a person that's against VAR, right? I just think they get it wrong. I just think they get it wrong so much. And I just look at the other leagues. All you gotta do is just go look at the other leagues' rules. Look at the other leagues. Just send some guys over there to see how the other leagues do it, and just copy them. I'm not saying reinvent the wheel here. Just copy what, and I'm sure there's fuck-ups in the other league too. Like, I'm sure there are, but it seems like they do it quicker. They don't get as much wrong. There isn't as much like outrage over it.
So the only other league, the soccer league that I watch as much as I watch the EPL is the MLS. And the stakes are lower in the MLS. So if you fuck up once, it's okay because you're probably still going to make playoffs. You still have a chance to win the big tournament. But the Premier League, you're trying to get into a certain position, either sixth, either top four, you're trying to win, or you're trying not to get bottom three. And all those have millions and millions of dollars of repercussions. So the monetary consequence alone is so heavy. So I think it's even more serious in the Premier League or in an English relegation promotion system than it is, for example, in the MLS. Now, I haven't watched the other leagues, but I'd be very interested about the overall UEFA conversation about VAR. Is it like, are the Italians messing it up this much, or the Germans? I just don't know. But like, I've seen so many things, obviously, because I watch the EPL more. It's just unbelievable. And this one hurt because I was really hoping Everton could grind out a tie. I don't think Everton even played that poorly.
No, they didn't.
I think who's the young player? The young blonde kid?
I don't know. It's like their winger. I don't know. He
one
had some plays, you know.
He's one of the better players right now, young players in the Premier League, and I was very impressed. I need to look up his name. He deserves that. Gordon. I thought he was Anthony Gordon. Remember the name. He looked very, very good. And once again, this City team looked bang average for me.
Yeah, not that great.
Or not the juggernauts that they should be at the top of the Premier League.
If it was any other offense with Gordon putting those balls in the box, they would have put a few away.
His service was immaculate, and I thought he played really well, and I'm excited to see how he does because I don't see how he maybe doesn't leave, especially, God, if they're relegated. I do not want to see Everton relegated. I'll say that again on the pod. But let's look.
I mean, Cronin brought this up as well. As like we're talking about Leeds and the new manager and whether they're going to get relegated because they're in the relegation conversation as well now because they've just been so poor, giving up so many goals. They've given up 61 goals. I mean, Leeds is a sieve. Leeds and Everton are around the same position, kind of like sitting in 16th and 17th, something like that. I don't think they're going to get relegated because I think the teams below them, Norwich, Watford, even like
Burnley
may not get relegated, but and Norwich, right? And so those teams are just so much worse, right? They can't score and they're getting scored on, right? So I don't think Everton, they're going to squeak in. They're going to be like finish 16th, which is a far cry from what we thought at like whatever they were, 11th, 10th, whatever we thought in the beginning of the season. But they've had some injuries and they've been dealing with some shit. But they're gonna struggle, continue to struggle. But I think they're gonna tie a lot. I think that's kind of like I could see them totally tying Spurs on Monday.
They currently have played 24 games. So has Burnley. Burnley's in 18th. Everton's in 17th. Everton have one more point than Burnley and have let in 5 more goals. Mm-hmm. So while I think they're better on like paper and even on the field, the table has shown something that they are much closer.
True, but I also think that Burnley, they're around the same. They're not the same type of team because Burnley grinds out ties. They have like 11 ties or something like that. But yeah, I just don't. But I don't think Burnley's going to get relegated. I truly don't think Burnley's going to get relegated. Truly don't. I think Watford. I think it's going to be Watford, Norwich, And I have a new prediction, and this is a new take on my relegation. I think Brentford.
I'd say that's accurate. What? So you're saying Norwich, Watford, and Brentford. But I mean, Brentford lost this past week 2-0 to Newcastle. Not a good look, my G. If you're down in the bottom, don't want to lose to a
Yeah, they're on the downward trend.
Trippier-less Newcastle. Are you ready to look at the week coming up?
Let's look at it. Let's check it out.
Let's see how it's looking.
Dive right in.
So we got games Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday we got Leicester, Leeds. Leicester have a shit ton of games in hand. Pardon my French. They are on week 23,
right?
So they'll be playing week 24 on week 28, you could say, or their 24th game on week 28. And so if they start to, accumulate some points here, they could still challenge for Europe, but it's like 2% chance of getting into Europe, and that's like being nice because I'm an optimist.
I mean, they look bad against Tottenham, so.
Geesh. This is at the King Power.
Yeah, I mean, Leeds are going to have a new manager. They may be on a somewhat of a. Usually, you see like a little bit of like a uptick when you get a new manager. I don't want to say that's like set in stone, but Leicester have been very poor, very poor.
Tie.
It's
at King Power.
Yeah, tie.
I'm gonna
2-2.
I was gonna say 2-2. The next game is Burnley Chelsea. Chelsea coming off the Kepa field goal. This game is going to be frustrating because I don't like playing Burnley, and it's at Turf Moor. So I don't even know who we play. I think Lukaku probably starts this game, which just kills me on the inside. I'm hoping that Timo Werner actually also starts because he needs to start getting some love because they're just Chelsea showing him no respect. So I'm expecting a Timo Werner, Lukaku, and then if he's healthy,
Reece James.
No, up top. Who's the other academy kid who I wanted? Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Cho. Anyways, I think Chelsea win this 3-1, but it's not going to be a good game.
No way.
Not going to be a good game.
Chelsea doesn't have 3 goals in them.
We do. We just can't put them in the back of the net.
No.
We created so many opportunities against Liverpool.
Against the Burnley team that is very okay with parking the boost.
Chelsea will win this game by 2 goals.
Not 2 goals.
By 2 goals.
No.
3-1.
I'm just just gonna say 1-0 Chelsea win.
2 goals. Next game, Aston Villa, Southampton. This game will be played at, I believe it's at St. Mary's. If my computer would work, I would tell you. When I say my computer, I mean my cell phone. It's at Villa Park. Jeff, what do you got here? Villa is sitting in 12th, and wow, Southampton's in 9th. I'm going to go with Villa 1-0. Kind of ugly, hoping for a Coutinho banger.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Villa. I need all those teams to stay kind of down there in the 10th place. I don't need Southampton to keep overachieving. It's making my prediction look real bad.
Nice.
James Ward-Prowse, though, I don't see how he stays at Southampton.
You think he's going to retire and play golf?
I think that there's going to be a big team that comes in and swoops in and picks him up.
Like Spurs?
No, Spurs do not want him. He's just another Eriksen.
He's better than Eriksen. No, lie. He's not better than Prime Eriksen.
Prime Eriksen. I didn't mean
not better than Prime.
They're not trying to. He's not a real 10. He's just a good set piece taker. Either way, somebody he would do really well in the Liga, but neither here nor there.
He loves paella. The next game, Newcastle, Brighton Hove. This is going to be at St. James Park. Newcastle.
They're on the uppity up.
They're on the uppity up, and they're in 14th. Brighton are in 10th. I'm going to go with a tie here because I think Brighton's a better team, but it's at St. James.
Do you think Brighton's a better team than Newcastle?
Oh, yeah.
I think they're very, very evenly matched at this point. I think Brighton was overachieving, and you were buying into the whole Graham Potter, like, wave a magic wand on his bullshit, like, squad.
I bought the hype.
You were buying the hype, like the Lamptey Cucurella hype.
So I bought the news. What's it? Buy the rumor, sell the hype. No, buy the rumor, sell the.
I don't think
fact.
Brighton are like a relegation team. I just think they're like a 12th place team, kind of like Newcastle.
I'm gonna go Brighton 1-0.
I'm gonna say a 2-2 draw.
Awesome. Next game, Norwich Brentford. Ooh, see this is okay. You know
this is a.
If Brentford drop points here, I'm starting to believe that they may go back down. I'll be a believer. And it would be super dark because Eriksen comes back, signs a 3-month deal, and then he goes down to the championship. Welcome back to football.
But he gets out if they get relegated, right?
I don't know.
I don't know how it's.
I didn't know he had like a parachute on him.
Well, I think he's just trying to show that he can play football again and then get picked up by another club. I think, actually, this is my prediction, and I wish I could put money on this. Eriksson scores in the 80th minute. Let's just say 80th minute.
You could probably find a
free
bookie
kick.
to put money on that.
Free kick goal, and they win 2-1. Brentford win
I don't
2-1.
even know what's going to happen in this game.
Norwich are bad. Norwich are a bad football team.
Yes, they are bad, but so is Brentford.
They're better than Brentford. I mean, they're better than Norwich. Sorry.
Yeah. Brentford's better than Norwich.
Yeah.
Next game, Wolves, Crystal Palace. I need Wolves to continue to play well. Wolves are at Molineux.
Why?
John Scheimer bet, bro.
I think Crystal Palace will not win. I think Wolves are a better team. They lost, right, this past week to Arsenal. Is that who they lost to?
Arsenal beat them 2-1 was that this past week?
There was like a makeup game, and I think they lost again though.
Yeah.
They lost to West Ham, yeah. But
Yes,
it was like
yes.
it was a very evenly matched game. I think Wolves like on paper should win this game, but I'm kind of rooting for Wolves to do poorly and kind of stay in that like.
So you want a tie?
Crystal Palace winning is fine with me. I don't care. Who the fuck.
All right,
Whatever.
so you got Crystal Palace winning.
Well, no, that's what I want on paper. I believe it more to be a tie. I think Wolves have real problems scoring. I think they really need to get rid of Jimenez and pick up a striker, or like a good number 10. They have like Podence can only do so much, right? And Neves can only do so much. At the end of the day, they need somebody to like bang in goals, and they don't have that. They don't have a Jota. That's who they need.
They lost Jota.
They really
lost Adama.
They really just need Jota back.
That's what I was actually.
they need.
It's really crazy. I was just gonna say that. Like maybe Jota goes back.
Yeah.
Because they just bought Diaz, who I think is as good as Jota, if not whatever. People may disagree with that.
They're a different player.
Mane,
They're a different type of player.
They are. Mane and Salah are now back playing well, and still got Minamines on the bench.
Here's the thing about Salah.
I think they're gonna probably go for like Holland or some shit this summer.
I think that actually they should let Salah go.
Oh, I think they should definitely sell. I thought they should have sold Salah after last year.
They can't sell him though, because his contract is up. So they have to let him go on a free or tie him up to a crazy contract with a crazy salary. And he wants $475K a week or so for something, $450K a week or something crazy like that.
He's probably worth it.
He's probably worth it. No. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make, when you look at the finances from Liverpool's perspective, like if you're like the Fenway group and you're like, well, we could sign Holland, who's like 7 years younger, or keep the guy that's won us. Like it's a tough call for them to make, right? But I think at the end of the day, they got to look long term and they got to bring in somebody who's like their future. I think Diaz is young. I think Jota's young enough, and then they'll have a third guy, and then you can rotate. I mean,
they still have Firmino.
They still have Firmino.
I shouldn't even think.
So like they need to get. I think they actually need to get rid of the Salah contract from a financial perspective, but from like either way. What I'm trying to say is that.
Can you find your point?
Let's circle back to the Jota argument. I don't think Jota will leave.
Jota won't leave. It's just a thing that like he fits perfectly with what Wolves need.
Right, and there's no other. What player is as good as Jota that Wolves can buy? Like Wolves don't have the money to buy like a big player.
Exactly,
like
and they can't buy Jota right now.
And they can't buy Jota. They don't have the money. So who do they like? What do? They go trolling and then they pick up somebody from Ajax, maybe, right?
They're gonna have to go outside and bring somebody in, or they're gonna have to go back to their home country, Portugal, and find some player.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. They're gonna have to go one of those like second tier European leagues and find a baller.
Yeah, second tier European league. You mean the MLS?
No, that's not a second tier European league.
Oh, okay.
They don't even play the same schedule. You can't even get those guys on the same page.
It's kind of weird.
It's a vibe.
The game of the week, I think, the mini bag game of the week as far as overall quality is going to be Liverpool West Ham. West Ham still hitting above their weight. It is at Anfield. Liverpool will be coming off of their Carling Cup win, Carabao Cup, Papa John's Cup, whatever ridiculous cup. It should be called the Exhaustion Cup because no one actually cares about it, but at the same time, it is silverware.
They were like pumped about winning it, but like nobody gets like too bummed about losing it. That's how I feel.
Exactly. So if no one's too bummed about losing it, no one should get that excited about winning it.
So this game, my first gut reaction is that I want Liverpool to smack this fucking West Ham team down.
It would make the title race better.
It would make the title race better. I actually
why?
think.
Do you know why I make the title shot better? Because if they win, so say Liverpool right now there's a 6-point gap because City have a game. If Liverpool win, then it's down to 3 points.
Right.
And then actually, let me make sure I'm exactly right on this. I want to make sure I'm right on my games here. Yeah. Liverpool have a game in hand. So Liverpool win, and then they've closed the gap to 6 points. Sorry, they've closed the 6-point gap to 3 points. I'm sorry. 6 points to 3 points. Then City plays Sunday, and we're going to review this game, but it's the derby. So now they have to play the derby. If they lose, say City lose that game and United wins that game, could happen. Then Liverpool, the next time Liverpool plays, we could have the title races on. We're all waiting to see if City are going to drop points. So that way when Liverpool and City play in April, it will be the game to watch. It's basically the league.
I like it.
So anyways, going back to West Ham.
Liverpool on paper, unless Liverpool throw out like a shoddy team or whatever, but I don't see that happening. They have an embarrassment of riches up front. Liverpool on paper are a lot better than West Ham. I don't care what David Moyes does. I don't care what David Moyes says. Liverpool are better than West Ham. Top to bottom. Top to bottom. So if West Ham somehow grind out some bullshit victory, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be very, very bummed because Liverpool should smack this West Ham team down. Put them in their fucking place.
So what's your prediction?
3-0.
My prediction is going to go 3-2, and I don't know who wins this game. West Ham are annoying. West Ham, Jared Bowen, he's balling, dude.
He's not.
Mikel Antonio, I don't want to play that. Declan Rice, arguably one of the best holders in the Prem.
Mikel Antonio might have gotten the man of the match for this past game, for that game against Wolves, but besides the one motherfucking play where he got the ball, he managed to get the ball across on the 6-yard line, and Wolves fucked up the clearance. That was his only good play of the game. He reminded me. I was like, what are they doing with? What is he doing? He didn't do anything the entire game. So unimpressive. So unimpressive.
Some would say that is the mark of a good striker. He's silent for 90 minutes and then strikes.
But the thing is that they also ask him to be sort of a playmaker as well. They do. They ask him to distribute the ball. I mean, the reason why they scored.
What else does he have to do?
But they ask him. They don't. They ask him to pass the. I mean, they want him to be a false 9 as well.
Antonio?
Yeah.
I don't even watch West Ham enough to honestly know what position they do or they don't. But you think it's gonna be 3-0 Liverpool?
I just don't see West Ham, like they're not that good. I mean, like Lanzini's not that good. Like Declan Rice, yes. I mean, obviously he's a really good holding midfielder, but like he keeps the ball out. I mean, Bowen's having a moment. Antonio's not that good. Like especially against Liverpool, who's literally like the second best team in Europe right now.
Liverpool arguably could be the
best
team
in
Europe. Overall chemistry.
And when in the 65th minute, if it's tied, which I don't think it will be, they can bring in ballers, dude. They bring in ballers off the bench. Who does West Ham bring in off the bench?
I don't know. Moyes.
See, nobody knows.
I'm not giving you answers. I'm just saying I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be the game of the week. Very close game.
Oh, I think it's going to be the game of the week. I just hope. Okay, so in reality, maybe your score. My dream is the 3-0 SmackDown. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Next game, Watford Arsenal.
Why do I show West Ham so much hate? I don't know. You show
a lot of things hate, and no one really has.
Nobody has
reason
any answers,
for it.
but that's the vibe I put out. That's the vibe I'm trying to
Watford,
bring to the pod.
Arsenal, Vicarage Road. Can Watford stop?
No.
Arsenal.
There's no defending. There's no hope that.
There's no hope.
There's no hope for Watford. Arsenal are a better football team than Watford.
I think Arsenal will win this game 3-0.
Yes.
Arsenal are not only a better football team, but they're in a pretty good moment. They're grinding out wins. Yeah. They're coming back in the 92nd minute with Lacazette worldies. Annoying. So Arsenal wins this game 3-0. Yeah,
Watford are trash, dude. Watford are bad football. They're a championship club. That's
where they're headed, potentially.
Back down.
Maybe. The next game is the derby. This for me, I really don't ever root for either of these teams, so a tie is also fine, and I think a tie is the most likely outcome because I think United are going to play them pretty tough. But a United win, like I said, makes the league a little bit juicier. So I'm down for United win or a tie as a neutral. Thoughts?
Thoughts are that I don't think United can handle the sustained possession and skillers that City have.
I think United will give away a penalty.
Yes.
And it won't be like a handball. It will be someone late to a tackle, not getting the ball and taking a leg. Even if it's like not that big of a deal, there will be a VAR penalty.
Because think about it. Think
City.
about who you have. You have Wan-Bissaka, who's not that good. I mean, he's serviceable. He's a Premier League defender, but he's not like a great defender. You got Luke Shaw, who's not been playing that well.
But he's playing better now.
But he's playing better.
Bad season, playing better currently. Better
Varane and Slabby, dude. Slabby.
Or Lindelof.
Or Lindelof. Oof. Rough.
I mean, any of the United center backs are not exciting.
They can very easily get turned and then commit a foul.
Riyad Mahrez came in against Everton towards the end. Yep. I expect him to start.
For sure.
He is, for me, my least favorite player to play on City. He's a lefty. He's sneaky. He's exceedingly quick, and he'll shoot. Some players don't shoot, dude. Some players you just know they're not going to pull up and shoot, so you're going to wait for them to dribble, and then you crunch them.
I'm not, like, sold in the fact that, like, City are going to blow out United, but I think that United are going to have a tough time dealing with those guys.
For sure. I'm penalty.
They're just annoying. They're annoying. The City when I watch City play and they pass the ball around the box and they do their little thing, it's annoying. It's annoying because they don't fuck up. They are like clinical. They are fucking clinical and they're very skilled.
They're robot skillers.
And they don't always like. It's also really annoying. Like if I was a City fan, I'd also be kind of annoyed with them too because they don't like get the ball in the box and like score that. Like they score obviously because they win the games, but like you'd think that they would score more, right? With the amount of possession they have.
I think I said this a couple pods ago, but if I were a City fan, it's the most stressful fan group to be a part of because your expectation is you win the Premier League, so you can only fail, and then the expectation is we should go win the Champions League.
But you
can only get let down. So it's actually a pretty stressful fan group.
Yeah. I mean, like there's no excuse for this for City, right? Because they have $1 billion on the field.
But United have more than they because they
yes.
sold Ferran Torres, who's now lighting it up at Barcelona. Aubameyang's lighting it up at Barcelona. Traore's lighting it up.
Dude, we're speaking of different. We've been all tooting a different horn about Barcelona lately.
Well, Barcelona is actually starting to play.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
And I think they're going to close the gap, and I think they're going to finish top 3.
They're just a highlight reel now.
And I hope that
it's great.
Pedri just
that little
everybody.
Meg. And then like Aubameyang scoring bangers. Like
Aubameyang scored a hat trick.
You got Traore with like 9 assists already.
Traore's getting double assists.
Dembele had like 2 assists a couple days ago.
God. All right, final game, Spurs-Everton. It's going to be at y'all's home. You don't have to go to Everton, which I hate playing at that field.
Goodison.
So
Yep.
Goodison's rough. What are your thoughts on this game? I thought Everton played City pretty well. When they're away from Goodison, I don't find them to be intimidating at all. I think you guys win this game by 2.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a few. We're still out Betancourt, Skip, Reguilon for tomorrow's FA Cup match, so I don't expect the lineup to be much different from the game against Leeds, and the lineup that we played against Leeds is plenty enough to beat Everton. But it's Spurs. They'll beat City one week, they'll lose to Burnley next, then smash Leeds the following week. So who knows? It's up and down. I could see a tie. I could see a 1-1 tie, which I'd be fine with.
That's the end of the week. There's some midweek games, but I want to talk about fantasy. So Mitch is at the top. Mitch is currently beating Oz by 21 points.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank God, Mitch. And Nick Bailey with the City Slickers is right behind, and Will Hayden is even close. He's coming up behind too. So Oz might be slipping just a little bit. He had a really good week last week. Actually, Mac had the best week with 66 points. I have dropped down to 11, bang average, and you are 8th, which is very nice. I'm now 200 points behind the top, and it was a point where I was like 60 points. It's just the gap is having. I need to get more serious, and I haven't even thrown out my triple captain yet.
Well, there's always next week, Jarrett.
Literally, there's always next week.
Until there isn't any weeks left, and then you'll finish 12th, and then that'll be sad for you.
It will be. I was hoping to pay myself.
There was never a question that I was ever going to win the fantasy.
Oh no. We're just trying to keep it competitive.
We're just trying to throw our hat in the ring just to spice things up a little bit.
Mitch is definitely trying, and I like that about him. He's strategizing. He's got some stratego. Strategery? Stratego, is that a game?
Stratego is a game. Strategery is a made-up word.
Strategery. Well, he's got good strategery.
Well, I don't have much else to offer. The whole Bolo creation thing kind of died at the wayside. I'm a little sad about that, just as an aside for our listeners
no
out
one
there.
wants the Bolos, dude.
I wore a homemade Bolo to a fucking wedding, dude.
Oh, other news. Jeff's coming down to Columbia with me. Maybe we wear the Bolos on the plane. Your wife will love it.
My wife was like, okay, so
we
went to the wedding.
On the plane?
We went to the wedding together, my wife and I.
Oh, you guys go places together?
Much,
me
everyone's
and
surprised.
My wife.
Much everybody's surprised. My wife and I went to the wedding together. And I wore the Bolo to the wedding. She wore a dress, as women do, to weddings.
You're so descriptive with your story.
And
my wife wore clothes.
And she was not embarrassed by me one bit. And I actually got multiple compliments at the wedding.
Yeah, because it's litty, because everyone else is trying to be cool with a bow tie, and they look like douches.
Oh, yeah. The bow tie thing, that's overplayed. That's over.
I think it's over. Bolos, honestly.
Bolos are coming back, baby.
I need to get a bigger pendant for my Bolo now that I've seen yours, which actually looks like it's made for a Bolo. So I need to get a better one.
To full disclosure, if anybody's seen the Bolo that I've worn, it might have seen it on Instagram or whatever. That was a keychain that I bought off the Spurs official web store.
Yeah, you have to get keychains. Anyways, send us a
ground
keychain.
Down the whole deal.
DM us. You can send us a keychain. We'll make you a Bolo, and we'll send it back to you. We're even going to pay for that back shipping. So come on,
this
people.
is literally going to cost you the price of the pendant, which you get to pick.
And you could just order it off Amazon because you have Amazon, and just we'll give you an address, so you're no shipping.
Yeah.
The pendant's like $3.
Yeah, and then it comes to my house. I make a video. It ends up on Instagram. You get tagged.
Content.
You get a little love. And it's, I've made a couple now, so it'll be probably the best one I ever make.
Every new one is better.
It's better than the previous because I'm gaining more Bolo making experience. And then we send it back to you. We pay for the shipping. It comes to your house. You get to wear it. And the only thing we ask is that you post it on social media.
That's it.
Tag us.
And they bury you with it.
And the burial.
And
it comes in your coffin.
Yeah. And if you're into cremation, send it back.
Write it in your will that it goes back
Put
to
it in your will. And the Bolo will go back to the @Boys and Bolos.
Well, that's all I got, Jared. Thanks for joining me tonight.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao.
Been told that clear. It's not offside against Richarlison in the build-up. So then it's just isolate the penalty. The referee said he was on the other side of it. Fine, I get that. So go to VAR, who have a minute and a half or 2 minutes to look at it, and to think that Chris Kavanagh has not given that penalty, that strikes him on the arm midway, strikes him when his arm's not in a natural position. I've got a 3-year-old daughter at home who could tell you that's a penalty. I'm not being funny, Jeff. I don't mean to make light of it, because we're in a position where we're fighting at the bottom of the table, and Manchester City are fighting to win leagues. So everything's crucial. And when you have a system to bring in a minute or two to have a view on a penalty, that is the most easiest decision you're going to get as a handball. Easy. There's so many that happen quickly. Arms there, late reaction, whatever. Anybody. I don't know what has to happen as a reflection of that, because it's a clear.
Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch @Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned, or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time.